Peace, family. This is your brother Shaka Shakur for another segment of African Talk. Today we are at the Natural Museum of History. Oh, let me correct that. We're at the world's largest theft exhibit. That's what we're at. Okay? Now, over here today we're going to talk about wealth. See, in ancient Africa, a lot of us now got wealth twisted. We think wealth is gold and bling and things of that nature. Well, in ancient Africa, curry shells were a sign of wealth, and ivory was a sign of wealth. So this person, if they wore this headdress and wore this neck piece, that would be like Jay-Z status right now. You see how wealth has changed depending on who's in charge? Now we're fighting over dollars and cents. At one time, curry shells that you take for granted now were considered wealth. So again, this would be a very wealthy, established person in society. So we have to ask ourselves, who determines wealth? Who determines what's important? Who determines our value system as African people? You really have to check yourself and ask that. So we're going to move around the museum, and as I move around this museum, remember, I got to say, as I move around this entire building of theft, we're going to tell you who's what and who what belongs to. All right? So stay tuned. All right, family. Now, again, I keep stressing how African culture is the foundation of all cultures, and I can't stress it enough. But behind me right here, these are all instruments. And if you see how all these instruments, you can identify some of them with current instruments. Like, you know, the great Lionel Hampton. If you don't know who Lionel Hampton is, you got to do your studies. Well, anyway, Lionel Hampton played the xylophone. He was a master at the xylophone. There it is. And it was even portable, had a strap on and everything. And this is Africa. This is the xylophone, you know, for our people who are into the church, you know, and you in there, you shaking your tambourine, right? Well, there it is right there. The hand drum. Now, if you see this kind of hand drum here, I want to stress that. If you look in like areas of the so-called Middle East or Afghanistan, etc., even in the Celtic cultures and Irish culture, they all had the hand drum, this little hand drum. Well, that hand drum goes all the way back to Africa. The Irish used it. If you look in like Afghanistan, Syria, they use it, but it goes back to Africa. And in church, you use it. It's called the tambourine. Now, what we would do then is we would take that hand drum and we would attach pieces of metal to the hand drum that would shake every time you hit it. It would go like a shakery. So you had two instruments in one. That's where the tambourine was born. For our children who are into another great black man, Louis Armstrong. You know, Louis Armstrong was a great trombonist. Here you have horns. This is where Louis Armstrongs and the Dizzy Gillespies, this is where this all comes from. And the Branford Marcelluses, this is the beginning of that. If you're into the guitar and you like another great man, Jimi Hendrix or George Benson, the great guitarist, Prince, and all the rest of them, well, there's that guitar. It comes from where you come from. See, I don't have to make it up. It's real. It's right here. Or if you a classic music fanatic and you like the violin, here's your early violin right here. This is your early violin. This is what that is. The bow that you see, sometimes you associate that with war. Well, that bow was used to strike. That was also a form of early violin. And if you're into capoeira, you'll still see that bow being played, which is more like here. And again, this bow instrument that you see associated with capoeira in Brazil, it originated in Cameroon. And this is the exact same bow, I think called timba, I'm not sure, but the bow instrument that you see in capoeira, that's a Cameroon instrument, a Cameroonian instrument. And it's a great forerunner to the harp, to the stand-up violin bass. You know, this is a forerunner. Obviously, you know where the drums come from, you know. And on the back, we have different variations of cowbells and shakeries. And here you also have the marimba, which is, you know, an early variation of what they call the finger piano. Now, those of you who are jazz enthusiasts, if you look back in the early days of jazz, like in the South, they had a box they would sit on, and they would pluck the box for bass. Well, that's where that came from. And this hollowed out version of a gazelle almost. This is a gazelle. This is a early drum. and this was played not for just music. This was played to, excuse me, this was played to warn people about what's going on. I'm not touching it. Just go around. That's all. You see the cord here. Just go around. No, you can go around. Go around. Don't do it either. Go around. Go around. We actually go around. You see what's doing? Ain't no assault. You doing something. You can just walk around. You can walk around. Walk around. I didn't touch him. You go around. Go around. Go around. Go around.
I said these crackers gon' get it, y'all.
That's all.
I'm sick of knowing what they did, y'all. Look at here. Kill all they women and they kids, y'all. Look at here.
Go around. Go around. Go around. Watch out, Queen. Go around. Go around. We left plenty of room, but everybody walked through. Everybody walked around. Everybody walked around. I'm none of your business. Continue. Anyway, go get somebody if you want to. Stand your ground always, never run. Now, as we were saying, did we catch that on film? Good. This drum here was used to warn villages thousands of miles away, hundreds of miles away. No, he saw we was talking about white people, and he didn't like that. And he wanted to come through and break through, and I'm not going to allow that. So I blocked him. He's not coming through it. Go around like everybody else was doing. Yeah, exactly. He wanted to do the arrogant thing, and I haven't. Again, when you stand up for your rights, be prepared to get physical if you have to. Anyway, this large drum was used to warn villages hundreds of miles away that we were coming. Let's move over here. Here we have early versions of tubas, early versions of harps, and as it goes further and further, it looks more and more like that. This is what you see.
Y'all say y'all want a revolution, where here's a taste, they gon' get it.
And this is sort of like the gong that you see in Asia, but this is where it started. Huh? No, it ain't that. Not that what I'm doing. It's what I'm saying. They were standing there for a while listening. I watched them. He got offended. They didn't want to come through. No, sorry. Black at you, people. Once again, now we're in a section called age, you know, and I'm kind of mad that they just titled it age. It should be respect for your elders. Now, in this section, there's some things I want to point out. One, there are descriptive things that we wore to determine our age, so you would know how to respect me. Like this white bracelet. This is an elder's ivory bracelet down here. You can see it right there. That elder's ivory bracelet would show a person like, you know, this is someone to respect when you walk into this community. Respect this person, you know. Nowadays, if I put a bracelet on made of gold, you respect that. But no, that was a status. You had to earn that by having some knowledge and some time and some experience. Then you got that bracelet. You didn't just get it because you went to Jacob the jeweler. Got to understand that. Now, let's talk about look and identity. You see this figurine here? What you see behind that headdress would actually be one lock of hair. Now, I have locks under this hat. A lot of people get slack behind having their hair in locks. It's dirty. It's this. It's that. And some of you will not get it because you think you won't be accepted. But it was royal culture to have locks, to have your hair in lock style. Here's another formation of locks. And as we go around, you'll see how it fits into the headdress. But the hair is locked. And in some cases, we even had hand-woven wigs. And we're going to swing around to show you the hand-woven wigs. But I want you to see the locks in the back of the head first. See, so when you go to school, young black children, they tell you, oh, your hair is dirty. Cut your hair. Don't wear your hair like that. You tell them go to hell because my people wore our hair like this. This is considered royalty where I come from. So you don't be ashamed of your beautiful black locks. They're beautiful. You wear them. Okay, we're going to swing around so you can see the rest. Now, number 4, which would be the headdress I was telling you about. Take a good look at the headdress. Now again, this is a senior's headdress. So if you weren't a senior in the community, you didn't wear this headdress. And obviously to grow your hair that long, you would have to have been here for a while. So this is a senior's headdress. Again, seniority was real. We respected our elders. We didn't disrespect our elders as we do now. So this is a senior's headdress. And over here you have a cord hat or mask worn by boys previously initiated during subsequent initiation to others. This mask or this headdress, this is an initiation headdress. So after you would go through manhood training, you would be initiated and you would wear this mask. And everybody saw you, knew that now you're a man. Now you're on your way to becoming the next elder. This is what this was for. And in 5, you have another form of headdress to distinguish yourself. These are distinguishing patterns or headdresses that show who you are and what you're worth to the community. So you had to be responsible. You had to get up, you had to learn, you had to work, you had to earn. You couldn't just get it because you are. So again, this is called age, but it should be called respect your elders. That's a proper title. So we don't use terms like old. You're not old, you're experienced, you're an elder. And I want to stress, this is real hair. This is not an extension or weave. This is someone's hair that they grew and designed. So when you go to school, young black children, don't let anyone tell you that you should not be proud of who you are, or that your locked hair is ugly, or etc., etc. It's not acceptable. My hair is locked under this hat. That's your culture. In the words of Bob Marley, grow your dreadlocks. Keep your culture. And if you look, you also see reflections of other cultures that came and took from our culture. This headdress, if you look closely, go watch movies like Troy and the Grease and etc. You'll see similar headdresses made of steel and bronze. But they were from you first. So I'm going to continue to take you through this haul of stolen artifacts. All right. Oh, and just to show you, hold on. We still rolling, right? I can't pass this. You see this miniature bow and arrow? This was given to every male infant shortly after birth. Soon as you were born, shortly after your birth, maybe a week or so, you were given this miniature bow and arrow set, which distinguished you as a warrior. So when you see our young brothers out here in the gangs and they doing what they do, it's not because they're bad. It's in their nature to be warriors. But we're not taking that nature and maturing it properly. So being warriors is part of our culture. But we don't know our culture. So we take it and let other people say that they're bad. They bring guns in. We kill each other. But that energy is a pure energy. And from birth, you are trained how to be a warrior until you become an elder. And this is mostly male initiation, male status throughout their living in Africa.